2,000 Burmese pythons from the park as of 2017. 167. Federal authorities banned 4 species of exotic snakes, including the Burmese python, in 2012. 168. The pythons are believed to be responsible for drastic decreases in the populations of some mammals within the park. 169. In a 2015 study by the United States Geological Survey, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and the University of Florida, 95 adult marsh rabbits were released and tracked in areas known to have invasive python populations. 11 months later, it was found that 77% of the rabbits that fell victim to predation was due to pythons. 170. Relationships like these are believed to be a reason for declining native predator populations such as the Florida panther that has less than 500 remaining individuals in the wild. 171. The invasive species that causes the most damage to bird populations is the cat, Felis catus. Both domestic and feral. Cats that are let outside live close to suburban populations and have been estimated to number 640 per square mile. In such close numbers in historic migratory areas, they have devastating effects on migratory bird populations. 172. Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan. Although scientists made headway in decreasing mercury and phosphorus levels in water, the natural environment of South Florida continued to decline in the 1990s, and life in nearby cities reflected this downturn. To address the deterioration of the Miami metropolitan area, Governor Lawton Chiles commissioned a report on the sustainability of area. In 1995, Chiles published the Commission's findings in a report that related the degradation of the Everglades ecosystems to the lower quality of life in urban areas. The report noted past environmental abuses that brought the state to a position to make a decision. Not acting to improve the South Florida ecosystem, the report predicted, would inevitably cause further and intolerable deterioration that would harm local tourism by 12,000 jobs and $200 million annually, and commercial fishing by 3,300 jobs and $52 million annually. 173. Urban areas had grown beyond their capacities to sustain themselves. Crowded cities were facing problems such as high crime rates, traffic jams, severely overcrowded schools, and overtaxed public services. The report noted that water shortages were ironic, given the 53 inches, 130 centimeters, of rain the region received annually. 173. In 1999, an evaluation of the C&SF was submitted to Congress as part of the Water Development Act of 1992. The 7-year report, called the RE study, cited indicators of harm to the ecosystem, a 50% reduction in the original Everglades, diminished water storage, harmful timing of water releases from canals and pumping stations, an 85 to 90% decrease in wading bird populations over the past 50 years, and the decline of output from commercial fisheries. Bodies of water including Lake Okeechobee, the Caloosahatchee River, St. Lucie Estuary, Lake Worth Lagoon, Biscayne Bay, Florida Bay and the Everglades reflected drastic water level changes, hypersalinity, and dramatic changes in marine and freshwater ecosystems. The RE study noted the overall decline in water quality over the past 50 years was due to loss of wetlands that act as filters for polluted water. 174. It predicted that without intervention the entire South Florida ecosystem would deteriorate. Water shortages would become common and some cities would have annual water restrictions. 175. Planned water recovery and storage implementation. Using SERP strategies, the RE study came with a plan to stop the decline in environmental quality, and this proposal was to be the most expensive and comprehensive ecological repair project in history. 176. The Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, SERP, proposed more than 60 construction projects over 30 years to store water that was being flushed into the ocean, in reservoirs, underground aquifers, and abandoned quarries, add more stormwater treatment areas to filter water that flowed into the lower Everglades, regulate water released from pumping stations into local waterways, and improve water released to Everglades National Park and water conservation areas, remove barriers to sheet flow by raising the Tamiami Trail and destroying the Miami Canal, and reuse waste to 4 urban areas. 177. The cost estimate for the entire plan was $7.8 billion, and in a bipartisan show of cooperation, SERP was voted through Congress with an overwhelming margin. It was signed by President Bill Clinton on the 11th of December, 2000. 178. Since its signing, the state of Florida reports that it has spent more than $2 billion on the various projects. More than 36,000 acres, 150 square kilometers, of stormwater treatment areas have been constructed to filter 2,500 short tons, 2,300 t, of phosphorus from Everglades waters. An STA spanning 17,000 acres, 69 square kilometers, was constructed in 2004, making it the largest man-made wetland in the world. 55% of the land necessary to acquire for restoration has been purchased by the state of Florida, totaling 210,167 acres, 850.52 square kilometers. A plan to hasten the construction and funding of projects was put into place, named Accelerate, spurring the start of 6 of 8 large construction projects, including that of 3 large reservoirs. 179. However, federal funds have not been forthcoming. SERP was signed when the U.S. government had a budget surplus, but since then deficits have renewed, and 2 of SERP's major supporters in Congress retired. According to a story in the New York Times, state officials say the restoration is lost in a maze of federal bureaucracy, a victim of analysis paralysis. 180. SERP still remains controversial as the project slated for Accelerate, environmental activists note, are those that benefit urban areas, and regions in the Everglades in desperate need of water are still being neglected, suggesting that water is being diverted to make room for more people in an already overtaxed environment. 181. Airboating has become a popular ecotourism attraction in the Everglades. A series of biennial reports from the U.S. National Research Council have reviewed the progress of SERP. The 4th report in the series, released in 2012, found that little progress has been made in restoring the core of the remaining Everglades ecosystem. Instead, most project construction so far has occurred along its periphery. 182. The report noted that to reverse ongoing ecosystem declines, it will be necessary to expedite restoration projects that target the central Everglades, and to improve both the quality and quantity of water in the ecosystem. 183. To better understand the potential implications of the current slow pace of progress, the report assessed the current status of an Everglades ecosystem attributes, including phosphorus loads, peak depth, and populations of snail kites, birds of prey that are endangered in South Florida. Most attributes received grades ranging from C, degraded, to D, significantly degraded, but the snail kite received a grade of F, near irreversible damage. The report also assessed the future trajectory of each ecosystem attribute under 3 restoration scenarios: improved water quality, improved hydrology, and improvements to both water quality and hydrology, which helped highlight the urgency of restoration actions to benefit a wide range of ecosystem attributes and demonstrate the cost of inaction. 183. Overall, the report concluded that substantial near-term progress to address both water quality and hydrology in the Central Everglades is needed to reverse ongoing degradation before it is too late. Future of the Everglades. In 2008, the state of Florida agreed to buy U.S. sugar and all of its manufacturing and production facilities for an estimated $1.7 billion. 184. Florida officials indicated they intended to allow U.S. sugar to process for 6 more years before dismissing its employees and dismantling the plant. The area, which includes 187,000 acres, 760 square kilometers, of land, would then be rehabilitated and water flow from Lake Okeechobee would be restored. 184. In November 2008, the agreement was revised to offer $1.34 billion, allowing sugar mills in Clewiston to remain in production. 185. Critics of the revised plan say that it ensures sugarcane will be grown in the Everglades for at least another decade. 186. Further research is being done to address the continuing production of sugarcane in the Everglades to minimize phosphorus runoff. 187. Everglades Restoration received $96 million of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. 188. As a result of the stimulus package, a mile-long, 1.6-kilometer bridge to replace the Tamiami Trail, a road that borders Everglades National Park to the north and has blocked water from reaching the southern Everglades, was begun by the Army Corps of Engineers in December 2009. The next month work began to reconstruct the C-111 canal, east of the parks had historically diverted water into Florida Bay. 189. 190. Governor Charlie Crist announced the same month that $50 million of state funds would be earmarked for Everglades restoration. 191. In May 2010, 5.5 miles, 8.9 kilometers, of bridges were proposed to be added to the Tamiami Trail. 192. Plane crashes. At least 3 airplanes have crashed in the Everglades. Northwest Airlines Flight 705, 1963. On the 29th of December, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed at the Florida Everglades, causing 101 fatalities and 75 survivors. The cause was pilot error. 193. On the 11th of May, 1996, ValueJet Flight 592 crashed in the river of the Everglades, killing all 110 passengers and crew. The cause was an in-flight cargo fire. 194. See also: Flag, Florida Portal Car, Landform, Everglades Foundation, Everglades Pseudotoll, History of Florida. References: 411 Everglades Province. www.fs.fed.us. Retrieved the 14th of...
Very good. Did finish reading. Now the powers of power. I like to read more this. The Everglades. I like to read about the Everglades National Park and the Seminole Indian native tribes. Could read more about the Everglades and the python snakes. I did not know they have some very long, 20 feet long, very big python snakes. They have some super, that's much longer than my living room. That's very long snake. That's like from there all the way up 20 feet. That's very long snake. Could be all here. And have the alligators, the American alligators I like to read about. But this could take many days. And now the sun is shining. Now the temperature getting up. But I need to go to bathroom because I've been reading 2 hours. So I think I will cook some hot food because I did eat chips and candy last night. So I have some fish. I have some fish there. I will do fish with rice. Buy a cheap pizza yesterday night, but let's cook some rice. Cook some rice, but I'll do that my next video. But I'm cooking my food in Dennis video. But I will look for links